So our sources were in fact correct. We did report yesterday that the Monetary Policy Committee meeting for the CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, would in fact be moving the date of the next meeting to February the 19th and the 20th. So that has actually been confirmed. Initially, the meeting was moved from January 27th, 28th because the Bureau of Statistics had not yet completed its rebasing of the consumer price index, the basket, and also the gross domestic product. And so that was what caused the MPC to have to shift its meeting to accommodate that rebasing. And so as of now, we're yet to get an update from the Bureau of Statistics on when exactly the rebasing will be completed, but we have confirmed that indeed the MPC will take place. That is the next Monetary Policy Committee. So we're looking forward to hearing the central bank's outlook for inflation for Nigeria and the monetary policy path. So that's monetary policy. To oil and gas, Oando has announced that it is moving. Okay, yeah, so it is announced a stock dividend for its shareholders, 1.2 billion additional shares, worth about 97.5 billion naira. As the time it was announced, end of January, disbursed in 2 tranches, 641.8 million on the 14th of February, which is this Friday, and the next tranche at the end of June. Also, the company has announced it's expanded its upstream portfolio by securing an operatorship block, KON 13, which is in Angola's onshore Kwanza Basin. They're saying it's anywhere from 770 to 1.1 million barrels that that could be in that particular area. And OER, which is the Oando Energy Resources, has a 45% stake in there, along with FMX 30%, Sonagol. So they'll all be working on that expansion. They're co-ventures, essentially. Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu joins us to talk monetary policy and oil and gas. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Oh, this your hair is too funky.
New look, just to keep people watching.
New look, eh?
You're welcome.
Okay, I mean, the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, we, as you already talked about in your rundown, it's supposed to be held January, but it's shifted. We were told that time that the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, NBS, was working on the rebasing of the GDP, as you said, and the inflation factors. But we don't know whether they're out now. So let's wait. This is happening next week now. As usual, when they sit, 3 decisions have to read. Do you, expand the liquidity in the system? Do you leave it at the same level? Do you contract the liquidity? And those have, any decision they read will have impact on the interest rates, exchange rates, inflation, and so many other factors. So that's for next week. Let's wait for them.
We'll see what happens.
Oando.
Yes.
Now, I decided to talk about Oando today because of it's more of a some public service responsibility that we have for the program. We don't recommend shares for people to buy. We don't do that. Please, investors will always go to their advisors and make some decisions of their own. Why I decided to do that is that people ask me each time I go to some forums to speak, and Nigerian Stock Exchange has to pay me for this. I encourage people to patronize the Nigerian Stock Exchange,
of course,
buy Nigerian shares. And people usually, my inbox usually filled with questions, and then the questions during those presentations, people ask me, how do we know the stocks to buy? And I say there's no formula to this, because nobody has actually been predicting that, because if we know the formula, I will be a billionaire myself.
Of course.
But I say, watch out for signals, like if it's a pharmaceutical company, for example, have they developed a new drug that maybe cure cancer or something, or diabetes, and then which that people are going to buy many, and of course it will have salutary impact on their profitability. Is it a company that has acquired another company that has superior profit and liquidity and cash flows, and that will impact their profitability? Because investors are looking for 2 things: capital appreciation, of course, which means you bought the shares at 10 naira now, you want it to move to 20 naira, and so on and so forth, or dividends, which is at the end of the day, your share of the profit in the performance of the company. And so that's why I wanted to talk about Oando today, that for the sum total of everything, again, as I advise potential investors, is that you put everything in a basket and see what is the vibe, what kind of vibe does the company give to you. Do you think that in the short term, the medium term, and long term, this company is going to be profitable? And those are things to talk about Oando. Oando, last year was a transformational year for Oando. Yeah. With the conclusion of the acquisition of NAOC, and I think $783 million acquisition, yep. And which Oando carried and has been successfully in doing. And that had so much impact. 2024 unaudited was very good for them. You did it here, I think, last week. We had things like revenues grew by 45% to 4.1 trillion, massive growth. Profit after tax grew by about 9% to about 65.5 billion. There was about a 7% increase in production, on crude. And so you'll find that all the parameters for Oando are pointing upwards. Yeah. And then you will see also that what do you see? There's a merger, there's an acquisition of NAOC. And when those acquisitions happen, you ask yourself, what are the acquisition imperatives? And do they happen overnight? They don't happen overnight. So I'm sure that Oando smartly will spend the next year, this year, trying to streamline processes, make sure that the business models are working together, try to cut cost optimization, because Oando was existing, now had the same kind of resources, items, so you have to make sure that the companies come in sync.
It's almost like the bank mergers we talked about in the past.
The bank mergers in the past. So again, with the production, I'm sure, we hear that they're going to have some new production technologies. They enable them push production up. As we've seen already that happened in 2024.
And you've talked, that's Angola, Shaw. You talked about this for Nigeria to improve Nigeria's oil production. Yeah.
Now, but most importantly, for Oando, I have two things that I have. One is security. How do they handle security? Yeah. Because remember that this is onshore and left by the IOCs. Right. That's why this acquisition took place. So security, they have revamped security through superior surveillance and a lot of technology to enable them, be predictable. It can predict things that are happening. To eliminate these things we talked about of, Boston pipes, stealing oil crude, and so on and so forth. Oil theft. Yep. That. But most importantly for Oando is, this is our own. Yeah. The issue of community relationships. And that has been a major issue in oil prospecting, in a lot of these onshore wells. And that's one thing Oando have done very well. And superior community engagement, not taking the communities for granted. What do the communities want? If you base it on even on Maslow's basic needs, the issue of water to drink, education, schools, their health, Oando has spent a lot of money making sure that those things happen. Yeah. And we believe that with the peace they have in those communities, superior community engagements, 2025 and going forward will be the good thing for the shareholders of Oando.
It's very vital.
Then you see the impact they have. Even though they had a lower oil price value per barrel this year, and the quantum the revenues got higher because they had a higher level of production. Yeah. So we can see with the higher level of production, Oando will become more profitable. What I speak to everybody, including the banking community, is, look at this. Oando, as you see today, has more than 1 billion barrels of oil reserves. Yes. More than 2 billion cubic feet of gas reserves. More than 300,000 barrels processing capacity per day. And the net present value of Oando's oil holdings now is more than $10 billion. I mean, what better deals can the banks have? Right. So, I mean, they are cut out for 2025. And I'm not telling anybody to go and buy the shares, but I have a feeling that, with all this put in the basket, the future is very bright for Oando. No wonder.
One quick second, I'm sorry. I was actually supposed to read a couple quotes from the CEO, Group CEO. Let me just read. In fact, it ties into what you're saying. So let's put up those quotes back for Wale Tinubu, Group Chief Executive. I said, I'm thrilled by our successful bid and award of Block KON 13 in Angola. I'm sure Chika, you'll jump to that in a second. This development underscores Oando's relentless commitment to expanding our footprint across Africa and contributing to the continent's energy sufficiency goals. I think he has one more quote here. So he did continue and he said, this is in the announcement, I'm confident in our ability to leverage our expertise to develop and maximize the value of this asset. And this is the security thing you're just talking about. We look forward to collaborating with our co-ventures and the other key stakeholders to harness this opportunity and unlock its full potential for Angola.
The Angola acquisition is a major milestone for them. Yeah. Because, also is Oando, apart from their local vision to locally dominate, they also have this African expansion objectives.
You know, this is so funny how this mirrors the banks. You know, when he talks about the banking expansion.
And the church is so.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, the KON 13 block that they got, you know, more than about 1.1 billion barrels reserve. As you already mentioned, about 45% the operation share in the operation. Oando going to be the operator with two other co-venturers. It's very impactful for them. And we know that Oando, having used Nigeria as a guinea pig, will go there now, become the African expatriate in this respect. It also speaks very well for their trading business. I have a feeling that with this foray through this acquisition into Angola, their trading business will also, you know, prosper. You know, the trading business in Nigeria, you know what's happening. They used to do a lot of the direct purchase, where they take crude from Nigeria and then bring white products into Nigeria. But you know, because of Dangote Refinery and NNPC is no longer even using crude to pay. NNPC is paying cash now for all white products brought into Nigeria. That's good. So that's Angola expansion. It's good for their business. And it talks about the expansion of the footprint all over Africa. And so that's commendable. And as I said in the first thing, you know, the other thing that happened was that their 45th AGM. Last year. It was a very, very milestone AGM where they took a lot of decisions. One of the things that happened, if you recall, whenever I analyze Oando financials here, we just say the balance sheet is very molded up. It's sometimes very confusing to analysts. And we talked about several times. For them, to clean up the balance sheet, clean up in quotes, and at the AGM, they tried to do that. And that has led to this bonus that I've given for the shareholders.
The shareholders,
shareholders, at 1.28 billion shares. Be giving, you know, freebies to the shareholders. This comes to almost about 100 billion naira. You know, that's massive for the shareholders. And you can see what I'm talking about. Share beginning of 2024 was about 10, just about below 11 naira. End of the year was about 70 naira.
It was one of the best performing stocks in 2024.
So the shareholders again are more stock dividends as announced instead of cash dividend. Stock dividends are superior to cash dividends, because of the fact that you can hold them in stock or actually sell them. Unlike cash dividends, I just get a cash and you can just go and do and use and drink kind or some other things. You know, but this one you can hold it there. And for the company also, when you give stock dividends, it helps you to preserve your cash flow. So instead of going out, for example, to go and borrow money and to pay that dividend out, the company conserves its liquidity, reducing borrowing costs and interest rates, and that has a lot of good impact on their profitability. And so the shareholders of Oando are good in a good state, smiling. The fundamentals look right for the company, you know, in all parameters, and we believe that 2025 will be a good year for them and going forward.
Chika, just to round off, what about your views on oil and gas for Nigeria in general? Still just looking ahead to the year. It's still...
What happened, you know, Reuters has been you know that there's 8 years of near no action. We lost so many opportunities in Nigeria. These transactions that have just been approved, like the Oando one, the Seplat one, and the Renaissance Oil one, you know, have been on the table for a long time. You remember the Petroleum Industry Act also has been on the table for a long time.
20-something years.
And then while we are waiting, investments don't wait for anybody.
Exactly.
The
beautiful bride,
as I like to say. Most of them moved to Angola, some moved to Congo, some moved to Gabon, some moved to Egypt. So now we're trying to do catch up. And we believe that now with all this abandoned wells coming to production, starting again on them, those for Seplat, those for Oando, and then for Shell acquired by Renaissance, we believe that the future is bright for the Nigerian industry. And with the regulatory agencies trying to push for above 2 million barrels a day. You know, I used to say in this program
FX,
go to 2 million barrels a day. The Nigerian problems will certainly be solved. I believe the future is bright for the oil industry.
All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Aviation, oil and gas, banking, you name it. Our prize analyst Chika. Thank you so much for bringing insight to this show. Thank you.